Yeah. Let me see if we go back to that Kickstarter moment, because Paul and me really sat at like the kitchen table without anything, thinking of companies like Guerrilla Games, kind of wondering like why wouldn't there be a second developer like this, and that's where I'm like, well, why don't we start it then? And
we did a few work for hire projects, and we saw very early on like this is not what we want in life.
No.
We need to make it more feasible to create these big entertainment titles. How are we gonna do this?
Yeah, the hard part is where you still think that if you can get money in some way. So, for example, let's make a crazy stupid app for someone that is sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm always getting signals here.
Yeah, that's like a lot of people here.
And when you have like you make this stuff for someone else, and then you think that the money you will earn from it you can use, for example, in your game that you're developing, that's kind of a lie, because it always, every client needs attention, and usually they need attention to the highest amount. So all your time will be swallowed, and time is money, and so all your money will be swallowed.
Yeah, that's true.
So
and you can put the love and interest into a product like that, and it will kind of you will see that in the product. So all the flaws that you're making within it, because you don't really love it, you're just doing it because you want some budget to put in something you love. So eventually we turned to a Kickstarter. So we said like, hey, let's build up a Kickstarter, and that's where Jordy came in as well.
Yeah.
What do you remember from that?
I remember everything extremely well. I have an excellent memory. I remember the first thing when I told Koen, hey, I want to do a Kickstarter. He was like, yeah, no. Literally said no. And I understand why he said no. And, Koen, it's kind of funny because it's kind of to your point. Let's be honest here. There are going to be some people who start a game business who have to do other things on the side.
Yeah.
Because that is a way of getting it done. And it's hard. But, to your point, what you just said, how like it's not what you wanted. Well, then it's like, okay, well, if you don't want to do it this way, then we got to have to do it this way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why you came around. You're like, let's just fucking go for it. Green light, foot on gas pedal. And we got down to research. We started researching everything. So one of the first things we did was get a Steam green light.
Yeah.
Because one of the things you need on Kickstarter is credibility of any, and we had zero credibility.
Yeah.
So we were trying to figure out, well, what's credible? Oh, we presented at a game show. That's credible. We've been greenlit on Steam. That's also credible.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't talk about it enough, but it was such an ambitious thing that we did, which was putting out a demo that people could play for free on Kickstarter. Because I actually look around and I don't really see a lot of game companies that have done that. Even though our demo, had its issues, it was something, it was something, you were getting something immediately, which in Kickstarter is kind of unheard of. So, and everything, once we pressed go live on that Kickstarter, that was one of the most beautiful and stressful months of my entire life. I think for everybody was like involved. Anybody we knew was watching the numbers with us. It was such an incredible time, and it had a lot of exciting things. I know probably you're going to touch on some of them, so I'll let you hit them. But yeah, it was a really incredible thing to be a part of.
I have to say, like, people underestimate a Kickstarter. Like, if you see it from the outside, you think like, pretty easy. Put some like photos on it, a little bit of goals and stuff. Yeah, that stuff took
at least 5 months preparation.
Yeah, it was more.
I remember expect. I was like, green as hell, thinking like, whatever, a 6-figure Kickstarter, like asking for 100,000 euros, easy. I mean, let's try that number. But when we started talking about it and we started to research, and I remember some conversations with Jordy and stuff about like, hey, you see these Kickstarters? Yeah, this is just 30K and they didn't reach it. And like, really? And we were at the verge of Kickstarter changing a bit, because if you would do a Kickstarter on this level, like with green without any track record, that was really tough. So most of the people that we talked to said like, you guys are fucking crazy. I remember that we were just talking to some people that were, so many people were like, yeah, is it gonna happen? Is it not? And of course we were standing there and saying like, well, yeah, I think it's still happening. But it was super scary because And not only for us, it would also be the attempt Gronk gave us to push this Kickstarter in the right way was also for him like, I hope this is gonna happen because that helped him also, that his community kind of makes this possible, you know, to give people a chance.
But eventually we got it.
Yeah.
So we got
crazy night.
The crazy night.
Oh,
we got the 100K, and of course that makes it a little bit more feasible to portray your dreams. So what did we do with the money?
Okay, first of all, it's not 100K. Let's
Exactly.
talk about that.
It wasn't 100K.
So I think I wouldn't be lying that only half of it was we were able to use.
Yeah, so what a lot of people don't know, you have, because mostly it's used to be a credit card, so PayPal is not involved, but some of the credit card bounces. So when you are hitting a limit, Kickstarter says like, oh, I'm sorry, we can't get the money out of the credit card.
Yeah.
So it bounced back, and that's like a 20%. So already 20K was gone on credit card bounces.
Yeah, then you have like you pay off your stuff to Kickstarter, that was around 5 or 10%.
Yes.
And then also the tax agency knocks on your door like, hey, we kind of want some blue.
We got some, you got some juice.
We got some. Nice. So eventually you kind of are lost with your calculations because you're like, oh shit, but we're out.
People will see that 100K. So they say like, yeah, you got 100K, right? And of course, like the whole logistics behind it, it's not something you can easily see.
No. Also sending out all those physical stuff.
Yeah, that's you need to pay. That's something that you can miscalculate.
I remember that we said like so the added costs on like shipping costs is something extra, right? And I remember that we looked each other in the eye and they said like, yeah, that's going to be extra on top of the Kickstarter. No. It wasn't. It was all included. So to some extent, of course, it helped us. It showed us like we had a podium, we presented something with a successful Kickstarter, but in the end, it was down to I think a couple of months of people that we could hire, such as Jordy, and we had a couple of computers and some trips done.
No problems.
Sorry, what did you say, Jordy?
I said more money, more problems.
Yeah. Before we head on, I want to hear Guy-Gianno's take on if you hear this, like how it started. How do you?
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty mind blowing from where you guys started on the kitchen table to where we are sitting in the streaming room right now. It's an incredible journey I think you guys went through. I only got to live part of that. I think the toughest part that you guys witnessed together with Jordy, I wasn't there for it. At some extent, I'm kind of thankful I wasn't there for it. But then again, I'm also, if I'm hearing all the amazing stories that you guys mentioned, I think it's a great learning curve and a great experience, and something you won't forget. And I think you go as a person, but also as a company. So never forget where you come from, and I think that's a good takeaway from this.